All right, so yeah, I heard Mike's approach on his activism. What do you guys say?
No, I have a.
Oh, you want more?
Yeah, just a little bit more. Then I moved to Tacoma. I was in the Army. I became a lot busier professionally, and so I really wasn't very active in gay politics per se through the next many years. As one leader in Tacoma in the gay community said, Craig talks and goes to the meetings and Mike writes the checks. So I supported things financially, but I wasn't out there doing much. So Craig gets to take over in regard to gay activism when we get to Tacoma.
There was a statewide organization at that time. I think it might have grown out of the group Mike talked about, the anti-sodomy group. It's called the Doring Group, and it fought for gay civil rights on a statewide level. They had lobbyists, raised money. I was on the state board. They had a chapter in Tacoma, other chapters around the state, and it was basically working to get gay civil rights passed on a state level.
And about what year was this?
This was late 70s, early 80s that came into being. And kind of out of that, I remember having a meeting in Tacoma, and a doctor came down from Seattle, and there was this disease that was coming on the East Coast and the West Coast. At that time it was called GRID, Gay-Related Immune Deficiency disease, and someone asked him the question about what the chances were, and he said, well, you'll get hit by an 18-wheeler truck before you'll get contacted with this disease. And I remember about a year and a half later, he came back and said that you better turn around, that truck's going to hit you. So that was the starting of other activism in the city of Tacoma. The health department had a staff member which was working with AIDS prevention, and he really needed input from the affected community. So he had a community advisory council. We met probably for at least 3 years on issues that we needed to address, and it finally came to the point that there were some issues that the health department just wouldn't deal with. Number one, that I had no part of was the needle exchange. Dave Burgess set up the first in the nation, first in the world program to provide free needles for addicts on the street to prevent the spread of AIDS through common sharing of needles. He's known worldwide for that, speaks at conference probably to this day about it, and is still active in downtown streets of Tacoma doing that. My approach, along with a couple of the other people that were on there, is the health department would pass out condoms. And so we decided that we needed to form a group that would do that. And out of that group, which we started in 1987 in January, discussing it, was formalized in August that year to become the Pierce County AIDS Foundation, which is now into its almost 25th year starting next year. So that was my activism for many years. I was one of the co-founders. I was president for the first 3 years, on the board for probably 12 years. Took a part along with a lot of the decisions that happened there. One of our major accomplishments is OASIS was a program of the health department, and they just didn't feel they could deal with it anymore, and so they approached people in the community, and the AIDS Foundation had a broader purpose than just dealing with AIDS. It had to do with dealing with homophobia, sexism, racism too, so that's how we took OASIS under the umbrella of Pierce County AIDS Foundation.
And when was that?
That was 1997, I believe, so it's been about 14 years now that OASIS has been a program of the foundation. So then I kind of took some time off.
And then you also were instrumental in getting the AIDS Walk going.
Right, AIDS Walk just celebrated its 20th anniversary this year, and I was co-chair of the first 2 or 3 of them, I believe, that we held in downtown Tacoma, and now up into its 20th year. Some of the years it raised over $100,000. I think we were happy the first year to raise $10,000, somewhere in that range, but we were real happy to be part of that program. Also worked on options for the AIDS Foundation, other programs that the AIDS Foundation had in the 12 years, 13 years that I was active, and I decided I had just burned out. I'd lost probably my closest friends, our closest friends, the '80s, mid '80s through early '90s, and just wanted to step back for a while and took some time off. Had twin granddaughters born in 2002, and that started to take up more and more of our time to spend some time with them over the years. We really enjoyed it. Probably in 2009, 2010, Seth and Lori approached us saying that they wanted some community leaders to work with the youth at Oasis, and would we be interested? And we both said yes. By that time, Mike is retired from his career. I'm still working at mine, but he's still writing the checks, and I'm still working. So, but it's our new activism now is working with Oasis and the youth here.
Well, I'm not sure we work with the youth here as much as we try to raise funds and get money out of other people to support the activities of the youth here.
So what would you what would you guys say as being possibly one of your most interesting experiences, most thrilling experiences you had in your life? I just something to spice it up a little, like something that just, I don't know, what made you think?
Well, a part that Craig left out, I don't know if he left it out on purpose or not, was his long and illustrious involvement with the Court of Tacoma. We got involved with the court before they were the Court of Tacoma. We were just part of the Court of Seattle. And we were involved with that for 3 or 4 years before they designated Tacoma as a separate entity, and we became the, what was it called? Is called?
Diamond Empire of the Cascades.
Right. So, Craig ran for the first emperor and did not win, but the first emperor, who's still around in Tacoma, didn't want to do much, so we traveled with the first empress, Kenny Olson, and then the second year Craig was elected to be the second emperor, and so we traveled again with the